Alright guys, we're back for part 2. If you guys missed part 1, make sure to check episode 7 where we do wiring. On this part we will be doing the rest of the wiring, but also a little extra we'll be doing audio. So that's a little more fun because you need beats when you go cruising. So yeah, less talking and let's go. Another day on the 64 convertible. Basically we're still doing the same, we're still doing wiring. All this, I started from the back actually. I changed all the sockets and rewired, reloomed everything. It's under here somewhere. So I started in the back and made my way to the front. Here we had a lot of stuff going on with house plugs and stuff like that. So I went through all that. That is all being redone. We have the factory for wiring for the power windows. I even found the wiring for the convertible top motor, which it doesn't have right now, but it will eventually. Made my way up to the front. This is where a lot of stuff is going on, so gonna slowly start over here. What I'm doing now is, this is the ignition switch it has now, which I think is out of a forklift or something, I don't know, but like you can tell, they been messing with the wires here, and this is only 3 cables, and the original one, which I have over here, is like 5. So what I'm trying to figure out now is what goes where. So yeah, I'm like writing stuff down and checking on this diagram right here, trying to figure it out. And you notice how we have this big wire here going through the firewall. That actually goes to the ignition coil. I'll show you guys right now, which is this one right here. See how it goes down to the ignition coil. And that's why I didn't change the ignition coil when we was working on it, because it's wired differently as original. I did find the original wire right here for the ignition coil. So I'm gonna try to figure out the wiring for the ignition switch, change that, then I'll change the coil. I'll try to fire up the car, see if everything works, and then I can move on to other stuff, and at least I will be back to original, because this clearly ain't original. A little problem that we're facing here is because they put another ignition switch on it, they drilled a hole bigger. You see how the original switch dances in it. This can be a problem, because if you can't get it tight enough, when you will turn the key, the ignition switch will turn. That's why originally they have like a flat tap on it. So what I did, we have this part that comes with it, which is actually for a light, so that you see where the ignition switch is. And I noticed that this one has a flat side. So this means that when you put it inside here, it will always stay in place. So then I noticed that we had these tabs on the other side. So what I did is I modified the dashboard a little bit, and now when this goes in here, oh, there goes the ignition switch. So when this goes in here, it will lock in place. See, I can't go anywhere. And since this has a flat spot right here, when the ignition switch will go in, it won't be able to turn. So that's exactly what we needed. Now the only thing I'm gonna do is, because it sticks out a little, I'm gonna file them off a little bit so it doesn't mess up with the interior trim and all that. But basically we got it where we wanted it, and once the key is in, it will be on the right positions and everything. So yeah, sometimes you just gotta get creative and make it work with what you have. Alright, so I took off the old coil, I put the new one in with the original wiring like it's supposed to, and I just hooked up the new ignition switch too and tried firing it up, and it went. So that means everything is hooked up correctly. Now I have to refinish all the wiring because I don't like the plugs on them and all that. So I'm gonna put some new plugs on it, and then I can move on and take that old stuff out. Meanwhile, the shop dog is really kicking it right there. That's my boy Hummer. I had to move the little carpet thing because he only likes to lay like on carpet and stuff. He don't want to be on the ground. He's like a classy dog, and he likes the sun. He would be happy in Cali. So you know, I had to move it so he can lay down in the sun like that. Eh? How you doing, Hummer? Yeah. He lost his buddy because there were like 2 shop dogs, but yeah, he lost his buddy, so he feels a little alone. But yeah, he just kicks it at the shop with me. Alright, so all the wiring under the dash is done and clean. So I moved on to radio. As you can see, I made the hole a little bigger to fit a standard radio. And I already passed the wiring all the way to the back. I'll show you guys the trunk. My boy Claudio was here yesterday and he cleaned up the whole trunk. So yeah, this is looking pretty good. Got a subwoofer right there, amplifier behind it. All the wires are run. I only gotta run the power lead for the amplifier, but right now I'm doing all the wiring for the radio. So we got the harness in there. I don't know if we can see, it's in there somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, I'll show you guys the speaker one. So this is a speaker one. So I'm soldering all the wires, and I put some heat shrink around it. These are the wires that will go through the speakers that I will put in the kick panels, hidden though. And then I'll have one in the back and one in the front in the original spots actually. So yeah, we're making some good progress. I'm also working on this to put the speaker in. This is the rear speaker grill. And yeah, doing a little bit of everything at the same time so the paint can dry and all that. This is the rear speaker grill that I painted up to match the seat again. Cleaned up the grill, retrofitted a new speaker in it, and I soldered the terminals just so we're sure that we have a proper connection and we don't have to be in there anymore. So gonna mount it back on the seat now, and then that part will be done. I will put some plugs on the lower end of the seat so when you take the seat out you can just unplug it there and don't have to mess at the speaker, but it's looking pretty good. Little update of what we got going on. I changed the dash trim, polished up all the buttons. We have the radio in it. Have all the wiring done for the radio. Here's the wiring for the amplifier. For those that have 63, 64 Impalas, that's a good spot to pass the power lead for the amplifier. I passed the wiring for the speakers too. I will be making some MDF panels now. Put some 6x9s in there. We will be running the original speaker on this spot too, the original spot. Have the wiring for that too. Other than that, I passed the antenna cable, all the wiring, all the way to the back. We changed the antennas. We got 2 antennas now. So that's looking good. And I'll show you guys the wiring in the front too. So it runs hidden behind the fender there, comes out here. There we have the fuse and the gold battery clamp where we hooked up everything. So yeah, I already tried the system and it bumps good, but we have to be finishing it off. But yeah, we will definitely have some music in here. And next up, I will be checking out all the power windows and all that everything works. So this is the original speaker we had in the dashboard, actually, the original spot. And it had like a rubber on it and like a fabric so you don't see through it. So what I did, I took the fabric and the rubber, made a new panel, put a new speaker, and I used the original bracket, modified it, and then basically I will put this insulation here and this will go over it, and basically this will hold the whole unit actually in the dashboard, just like originally. So that's what we're working with. We will have one speaker there. The other speaker, like this one, is in the rear seat, like I showed you guys earlier. We have the wiring dropping through the back. So yeah, that will be these two. And then we will have two 6x9s in the kick panels where the original vents used to be. And yeah, that will be bumping pretty good, just so we can cruise around, have some beats in it, have some fun. That's what it's all about. Modify the bracket a little bit, rounded off all the edges and all that, so it's looking pretty good. So this is where the speaker will go, inside of there. And I also made already, boom, one adapter for the 6x9s. I will show you guys more of this when I make the second one. So there we have the dash speaker in, and we don't see it through here, so that's perfect. Then we're gonna be moving on to this. I already made an adapter, which I basically painted off the original vent. What I'm gonna do here, I will be putting some silicone or something behind it, so it's really well closed, and I will be putting like a plastic or something to protect the speaker, because you have to remind that basically this is the vent from here, so you never know if some water can get in. Normally it shouldn't, but you never know, so I will be putting some kind of protection to protect the speaker, just like we usually do when we mount speakers in the doors and stuff like that. So yeah, we're gonna be moving on to that now. I've bought some 6x9s I had in the shop that are gonna be going in, and then we move on to the other side, which I think I just flip it and it should be the same. So yeah, I think today we will be done with the audio, so that's good. So here is the second adapter I made for the 6x9s in the kick panels. I did it with 8mm MDF. I think you can even go to 18. Not sure if on my 6.3 I went with a thicker MDF. What I did here was I did some inserts so the bolts don't stick out. And what I did is I used the diameter of the socket so you can still like tighten it up, you know. So yeah, that's some little custom stuff I like to do. What I do now, I'm just gonna paint them flat black, just so if you would see through the kick panel, you don't see the MDF, that is just all black. So this is how it will look. I put a plastic, like I was saying, it's between here, and basically it's long enough so that way the speaker is protected, and also if there's any water hitting it, it will be going down so it wouldn't come inside the interior. So now I can mount the speaker. I have the wiring right here, and then I'll move to the other side. I've actually just painted the other one, so waiting for it to dry, and then we're basically done with the audio. That was the last part I needed to do. So this I will look with the kick panel mounted. As you can see, the speaker is behind it, but you barely can see it. I'm gonna try to take the kick panel off to show you guys. There you have it. I did put the grill on it because I noticed that the kick panel otherwise was hitting the tweeters and mids we got right there. So yeah, I put that one, and in the end it's not that fat, I would say, because You gotta imagine that the original vents, they stick out too, so he's basically good. And the two holes on the kick panel, they fall on the wood side, so that should work too. I can just screw them on there and it's okay. So yeah, this side is done. Gonna move now to the other side. I'm waiting on the paint to dry still, and then we're good to go. Moving on to the windows. I don't know if I mentioned that this one was really stuck. Like I had to pull and the cables were warming up, and I thought, man, this motor probably bad. Basically, instead of wasting money on buying everything new, just use a can of these in every door and it works again. Let's try it out. I mean, they not new, we know that, but hey, look, it's working. Just a little slow, but it's working. Same for the other side. That one was working, but really slow. Now it greased up a little and it's ready to go. So that's pretty good. Now I'm gonna move on to these ones. Gonna take those covers apart to get access to them, I think. I'm not sure. And otherwise I'll work my way through them holes and spray WD-40 everywhere till it starts working again. Also, what I did, this power window switch, I took it apart, cleaned it up completely, cleaned up all the contacts. They had some surface oxidation, I would say, but that helps, you know. So it's fully rebuilt. That's what I like about these old cars. Basically, you can rebuild everything. I did the same with the convertible switch, but we don't have a pump motor yet. But yeah, making everything work, coming back to life. Okay, this is unbelievable. It wasn't, I mean, it was barely working, and look at it now. And the best news, I didn't have to take that apart. Basically, what I greased was that part right there, because that's where it turns. Put a lot of WD-40 in there, and then I went through the motor. I don't know if you see it there. There I put some, you see how it's shiny. And then that rail right there. See how that's where it goes back and forth. That's all I did. Put a lot of it on it, and look at that. Man, I'm happy. Working perfect. Basically, there is no 1,000 ways to it. You just take one of these with the long straw and you just spray it everywhere. Everywhere you see a rotation, something spinning over there, just spray it everywhere and it will start working, and just go up and down a couple of times, and if you get lucky, it will start working again. I mean, these cars were built tough, and that's a fact. That's really a fact. You might say this area right here I can't spray anywhere, but what I did is just stick it through there and just started pointing at stuff and spraying, and I've basically got all the rotation areas and it's working now. So worked for me, guys. Just try it out, I say, and get them power windows back to life. No need for aftermarket if you can save the original ones. And just like that, we got number 4 too. This is the better one, actually. It was completely stuck, and now it sounds like the best one. Unbelievable. Okay, so I think I gotta put the battery on the charger, but let's do this for the video. That's 1, 2. Let's see over there. 3. And the last one. See if we can get them all up too. I think the battery's dying. I mean, they don't sound good, but where is that one? Oh yeah, my battery's dying. I will put it on the charger and call it a night. Oh yeah. So that's another thing rebuilt on this car. Alright guys, that will do it for this episode. It wasn't one of the best, I would say, because it's something that hard to record. And I want to thank you guys for staying here, for being loyal and watching till the end, because it wasn't that exciting as other ones. But anyways, thanks for watching. We will be back with more footage, as I always say. Just give me some time, because I have a lot of stuff to do, a lot of ideas, but the problem is having time for it. This is not my full-time job. This is just a hobby. So you know the drill. So anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share. Do what you gotta do. And I'll see you next time. So this is it right here. This is a 1963 Chevrolet Impala.